That's voter suppression at its finest. That is the intention of what the GOP wanted to do. When Elaine talks about the chairman, so each party, political party, you had two primaries going on, two separate primaries going on. But in order to have a joint primary, both have to agree to do that. They didn't agree to do that, which disenfranchised Democratic voters and Republican voters. So there were multiple folks who got sent away or showed up at the wrong location and didn't understand exactly where they needed to be. Beyond that, you had systems on the back end, whether that was the county the county elections department's website that crashed. You had the
Yes.
Secretary of State's website that had misinformation on it. And so people didn't really have a source of truth. And so they were kind of winging it as needing to know where to go and running into great election judges like Elaine who could reroute them to the correct place.
Yeah, and that's why we consistently try to enforce and try to tell people to get out there and vote early, because we
Yeah.
always know in the great state of Texas, because we still a great
Yes.
state, we gonna have issues on election day.
Yeah.
Angel, from a strategist perspective, things like voter confusion can also affect turnout, especially leading to November. How big of a deal is that when campaigns are trying to energize voters and keep them engaged at this point?
I mean, it impacts it greatly. This was a test run by Republicans, right? I truly believe that. And this truly doesn't just hurt Democrats, it hurts Republicans as well when we see this. And so we've got to figure out how we convince people that they can trust the process when we're literally seeing voter suppression in our face. There was a voter extension, not just in Dallas County, but in Williamson, Houston, as well as El Paso, because of not just the misinformation and confusion around these precinct voters, but the machines were going down. I believe in El Paso, there was one area where only 2 machines were actually working. Again, this is not this is on purpose. This is not by accident. I'm sure I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but we are the great state of Texas. We have how much money invested into this? This was done purposefully. So I think what we need to see boots on the ground, as well as our county parties, our precinct chairs, our Democratic clubs, telling folks ahead in advance to say, this is what to expect. Here, go to your precinct to vote. One of the things we saw in Williamson County, which is right outside of Austin, is that no one knew where to find where their precinct was. So you had all the the voting locations, then you had go here, if you're in this precinct, but no one knows what precinct that they live in. And that link on the election site was so hard to find. And so we have to figure out how we're going to educate folks on where they need to go, but also be responsible when we're communicating this information, right?